So hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to do a speed test comparison between the Samsung Galaxy J7 Prime from 2017 and the Motorola G5 Plus. So both of these phones were launched in the same year, that is 2017, and today we are going to do a speed comparison and RAM management between both of these devices. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, then do subscribe and like the video if you like it, and let's begin with the speed test. So the J7 Prime here has the Exynos 7870 octa-core processor, while the Moto G5 Plus has the Snapdragon 625. So let's see which processor is faster, and the J7 Prime comes with 3 GB of RAM, whereas the Moto G5 Plus comes with 4 GB of RAM. So both of this phone come with fingerprint scanner, and let's do the fingerprint scanner test in 3, 2, 1. That was faster on the Motorola. Let's do it once again with screen off. 3, 2, 1. That is much faster on the Motorola. Let's do it once again with screen on. Yeah, that is much faster on the Motorola. So both the phones are connected to the same wireless networks, and everything is closed up in the background. So let's begin with phone dialer. That is much faster on the Motorola. Now let's move on to clock. That was faster on J7 Prime. Now let's move on to camera. That was again faster on Motorola. Now let's move on to settings. That was again faster on the right. Now let's move on to calculator. That was faster on J7 Prime. Calendar. That was faster on J7 Prime. Now let's move on to Google Maps. That was faster on the right. Now let's move on to YouTube. That was faster on Motorola. Now let's move on to Play Store. That was about the same on both the devices. Now let's move on to Google Chrome. That was faster on J7 Prime. So let's search for apple.com. Let's hit go. That was slightly faster on the J7 Prime. That was faster on Motorola. Now let's move on to Google. That was much faster on the Motorola. Now let's move on to files. That was faster on J7 Prime. Now let's move on to Google Drive. That was again faster on Moto. Now let's move on to Zedge. So as you might have seen till now, the Motorola is actually slightly faster than the Galaxy J7 Prime, and the cost of both these devices is actually similar. So the Motorola is actually much better than the J7 Prime. This might be due to the software, as the Motorola actually runs on clean stock Android, so that is a good thing. As you can see, the Motorola is actually quite faster as compared to the J7 Prime. Now let's move on to basic games. Temple Run. As you can see, it is much faster on the Motorola. Now let's move on to Subway Surfers. That was again faster on Moto. So for basic games, both of these devices would be just fine, but you cannot play high-end games on this phone. As you can see, it is also lagging quite a bit on the Motorola also, as these are almost 5 to 6 year old devices. Let's move out of that. Now let's move on to speed test. That was again faster on Motorola. So that was a speed comparison between both these devices, and you can see the Motorola is actually quite faster as well as slightly more fluid as compared to J7 Prime. Now let's move on to RAM management. That was kept in memory by both the devices. Clock, that was refreshed by both the devices. Settings, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Calculator, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Calendar, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Maps, same. So the RAM management is pretty much poor on these devices. The Motorola actually has 1 GB of extra RAM, so that might help quite a bit. But then also, as you can see, that was in memory by both the devices. Chrome, that was refreshed by both the devices. Google, that was kept in memory by both the devices. My Files, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Google Drive, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Sedge, that was again refreshed by both the devices. Temple Run, that was actually in memory and it got refreshed on the J7 Prime. Now let's move on to Subway Surfers, that was in memory on Motorola while refreshed on J7 Prime. Let's move on to speed test, that was again refreshed by both the devices. So that was the speed test between both these devices, and according to me, the Motorola is actually quite faster as compared to J7 Prime due to its software as well as the Snapdragon 625 as compared to the J7 Prime, which actually runs on One UI Experience version, and it also has Exynos version processor. So that was the speed test difference between both these devices. Thank you for watching. We'll meet you in the next video.